Hi, you guys. Lashana here, aka Lemonique. The reason why I wanted to do this video is because I wanted to talk about unforgiveness today. Um, Unforgiveness is just something that unfortunately a lot of people experience, and it's very hard to encounter or go through it. To actually understand what I'm talking about, I'm going to go back into my younger years of my life. I had at the time I had met this awesome guy, and we were in love. I had met him from church. Everything was going great. He was a cool guy. He was awesome. He was very nice. I mean, I thought I actually hit the jackpot. Well, unfortunately, we got married like 2 months later or a month later. And at the time, I really thought I was doing a very good thing. So, we got married, and we he actually moved in with me. And I would advise anybody, if you you know, are experiencing love first sight and you want to get married, take the time to get to learn that person, because in some cases, you do get happy endings, but in some cases you do not. And sometimes, you think you're marrying, your princess, or you think you're marrying your prince, and you find out later it's actually the devil in disguise. And that's what happened to me. But anyway, we got married, and we actually had 2 children. Well, during the time, when we were together, he was like verbally and physically abusive, and you know, um, it was kind of hard because, like I say, when I was with him, he was like I know it's a word for it, but I'm not sure the word where they want to have sex like constantly, and that's what happened with me. Even though I told him no, he still wanted to have sex because that was like an arousement to him for me to be sore and he to have a sex with me, and that's what happened on that part. It's plenty of times where I was like into tears having sex, but it's like he didn't care. And like I say, also he was like verbally abusive, and he used to always tell me, you love your family more than me. You don't love me like that. You love your family more than me. And he used to always talk about being suicidal. And to make him happy, I would neglect my family, my friends and everything, just so he wouldn't, be so he wouldn't commit suicide. And also, I mean, I was like depressed at the time because when we were together, we used to always what is it? Oh, we used to always get into arguments because he would like actually time me from the time I got to work to the time I got home, and if I did not make it home in a certain amount of time, he just assumed that I was cheating. So every day I was driving home, 70 miles per hour, praying that the police would catch me. So, I mean, it was a difficult marriage. But I'm going to go on to tell you why it took me so long to forgive him. But anyways, one particular day, actually we was living together at the time, and I wanted to renew my lease there. And they looked at me and they told me, no, we cannot renew your lease. You have to leave. And I'm thinking, I don't understand. I always pay my bill on time. I don't understand what happened. And I later found out that when we were together, we used to always argue like every night, and we used to argue very loud. And so a lot of the neighbors were complaining about it. Well, that's what the lease lady told me. But I don't know really what happened, because no one complained to me and told me, oh, you're arguing in your apartment. You need, what's going on? It was never brought to my attention. I was there faithfully paying my rent. So I think they kind of just threw that in there. But like I said, we had to move out. So during the time, we actually became homeless. So we were like living in the car, or we will be like living in a hotel. And we actually got into a program, it was like a little homeless program, and they told us, we could stay there, and it would help you, find jobs. And the cool thing about it is I already had a job and I already had a vehicle. But although everybody, I think, thought it was his vehicle because he was always driving it. Anyways, we got into that program, and I actually graduated from that program. He actually got kicked out of the program because of some things that happened in another state. So with that, but anyway, those things, they actually found out about those things, and they actually threw him out the program. And so I actually went to another program, but it was for like single mothers with children. Because at the time, I had a little one, and he was like 1 years old at the time. And then I was actually just had a baby. So it's kind of weird, like having a baby and you're homeless. Although I was homeless, we still lived in that community where, we was we did I was blessed because we had room. We had room, we had food, we had all the necessities. I mean, it was a pretty good program. But like I said, I graduated to another program, and I think I stayed there for about a year or two, and that's when I got my own apartment. Well, at the time, I had told him that when I get this apartment, I will move him in. But when I was actually in the other program, the second one, we actually had to go into counseling. And at the time, I was like, man, I don't need no counseling. I'm good. But I'm really glad that we did have counseling because at the time, I thought I was the only woman going through those things, but a lot of women there were sharing the testimonies, and that the lady, in the counseling that we had, she actually was telling me that guys will tell you those things, but they really wouldn't mean it. So I mean, we actually learned a lot there. But like I said, I don't want to like talk a lot because I don't want to make this video too long and bore you. But anyways, at the time, I made up in my mind, I don't want to go back to where I came from because I really believe that was the Lord in disguise, trying to get me out of that relationship because no telling what would have happened because it was like verbally and physically abusive. What I'm saying? I was depressed, you guys. I was very, very suicidal. I started losing a lot of weight. I was just very unhappy. And like I said, I was trying to stay in my marriage because people were telling me, you need to stay in your marriage. You don't need to get out of it. But at the same time, I was like depressed, you guys. I was like so suicidal. But anyway, like I said, I went to the program. I ended up staying there for about 2 years. I want to say about 2 years, and I got another apartment. Well, at the time, my husband. Well, at the time, he was my husband because he's my ex-husband now. At the time, he had came to my house, and I wouldn't have let him in, because of what I've been through, and I know what kind of person he was, so I wouldn't let him come in. So, he kept knocking on the door, and I wouldn't let him in. So we have like a little slide door on the side. Well, he kept babbing on that thing until he actually put a crack in it. And then not only that, he broke into my power box, you guys. I have no idea how he did it because our power boxes at the time were locked. And I'm guessing he took something and broke it. But anyway, he broke into the box and he kept cutting off my power. And every time the police would come, because I would call the police, and so every time the police would come, he'll cut the lights and stuff back on, and he would like run around and hide. And so at the time, that went on, I mean, that happened for like 2, 3 hours. So I'm trying to calm the kids down, trying to, tell them, it's okay, it's okay. At the time I had my brother with me, and I don't think he, took that situation, too good. But anyway, praise the Lord, he left me alone that night. Well, unfortunately, I want to say about a month later or 2 weeks later, he broke into a family member's house and he actually raped them. He raped them and just kept raping them and raping them. stabbed her with a knife. Uh, oh, he just was horrible. And like I said, that to this day, the person did really tell me everything that went on, but I knew it was pretty bad because I had went to the hospital to visit that family member, and he beat her so bad in her face that I actually thought that I was in the wrong room because I mean they was unrecognizable. I couldn't even recognize them. That's how bad he beat them. So he raped her, beat her, stabbed her with a knife, and it was horrible. But thank you, Jesus, she was able to escape, and she got into her car, and she drove to the nearest hospital. But anyway, the reason why I'm saying I was talking about forgiveness is because for a very long time, I had blamed the whole attack on myself because I thought that, if I would have never married him, if I would have never took him around the family, he would have never, never done this kind of things. And, at the time, I was like really, really mad because I was actually driving around town actually, trying to hurt him because I had like a knife, an actual knife in my car, and I was actually driving around so I could like hurt him, possibly kill him. And at the time, something just snapped. I mean, I just was like went crazy, you know. And so, praise the Lord, that had the Holy Spirit in me because I feel like the Holy Spirit was telling me, if you kill this man, who is going to raise your children? And at the time, I was like, you know what? That is so true. And so instantly, well, I can't say instantly, but it did make me calm down, and it made me, realize, I needed to stop. I had to just stop and give that to the Lord. But like I say, the reason why unforgiveness is because I had unforgiveness toward myself because I blamed the whole attack on myself, and then of course I blame him because to me he shouldn't have did that. And like I said, for a very long time, I couldn't even drink Dr. Peppers because that's his favorite drink is Dr. Peppers. And for a long time, I wouldn't even drink a Dr. Pepper because it made me think of him. If I saw a picture of him, I would just get so angry and so bitter. It was just bad. And so one day, I kept praying, and I was like, Lord, just help take this unforgiveness out of my spirit because at the time I still wanted to hurt him, and at the time, with a lot of my friends, they heard about the situation, and it was just like, girl, we want him dead. I mean, we want him to the point where he's dead and he's like flown in the ocean with the fishes. And I was like, man, you guys, don't do that because that won't look good on your record. We just gonna give it to God and let God handle the situation. And so for a long time, I had to pray that God would take that hatred out of my heart. And eventually, it did leave my heart. And at the time, I didn't know that, they got into my spirit. And I was actually taking that same hatred toward other relationships that I had. And in those relationships, I was comparing the men, to him. And then I was comparing, oh gosh, your family members look beautiful, and it just sparked something in me where I would just like, oh my gosh, are they gonna try to rape another family member? And so I would just act so mean and horrible, so they would on purposely, leave me alone or break up with me. But I'm just here to tell you, you guys, don't let that hatred build up inside of you. Don't let it grow because if it does grow, I'm telling you, you're gonna end up taking that hatred into your other relationship, and you don't want that hatred to be there because while you're have a because like hatred and unforgiveness, I mean, if you keep thinking about this stuff, you can actually get like an ulcer in your ulcers, what they call ulcers. Hatred causes ulcers. Like I said, you can bring whatever was in the past to your future relationships, and you don't want to do that because the person should have to suffer because of something that happened to you in your later years. But like I say, it's very, very important that you forgive and just let it go. Because once you let it go, I'm telling you, everything will be you'll be so much at peace. Because, I didn't realize what it was doing to me, the hatred. I had got to be mean. I had got to be bitter. I could not be in a relationship. It was just really, really bad. And so when I finally let that unforgiveness go, I let that hatred go, I let all that go. Man, I was able to, grow as a person. I was able to love myself much better. I was able to love other people. And like I said, man, I am so glad I did that. Now I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I am not telling you that at all because it took me years on top of years on top of years to forgive